What is going on? What is going on, guys? Hope everybody can hear me clearly. Today is April 1st, 2024, and I quit trading. I quit. It's not working. April Fools. And that's my mid-April Fool's joke of the day. But how are you guys doing today? I hope everything is going well. It is Monday, April 1st, 2024, hence the April Fool's joke. And I am going to be diving into our pre-week analysis. Now, I do have an announcement to make, which is that I will be doing these on Sunday again, all right? I used to do these on Sunday at 8 p.m. However, in the Forex market, I wasn't typically coming to my bias until Monday night, so I decided to start doing them on Monday nights. However, trading in the futures market, now that, I'm focusing just on NASDAQ, trading in the futures market, and not just that, I do want to go back to doing those top of the week Sunday night outlooks. Now, of course, on Sundays, they'll have less of a pressure for us to know exactly what the market is going to do, because Sundays would be more a recap on last week, looking at those news releases that we're looking for to impact the market and paying attention to potential key levels. And if certain things happen, what we would then be paying attention to is the type of analysis I'll do more on a Sunday. And for those of you that don't know, you can join our free community and get access to the live sessions that I do throughout the week, right? For right now, because those sessions will not be live, will not be free forever, especially with myself running them. But, right now we want to focus on providing as much value as possible, especially as we get, the community up and running even more. So with that being said, we're gonna be getting back to doing those market outlooks on Sunday. So next Sunday is when our next market outlook will be, April 7th. Unless, of course, anything happens with my schedule that I'm not able to. But regularly from now on, we will be running these on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you guys can tune in for that. All right. Now, next things next. We're going to go ahead and dive into this upcoming week, starting with, of course, the economic calendar. All right. Now, for me, looking at this upcoming calendar week, today, first and foremost, we did have some good news releases that should have brought liquidity into the market, and we did get a little bit of a jump ahead of the 9:30 open. However, following that, it was really not the best price action in the market, but it was cool. Going into the rest of the week, however, this is the first week of April, so a couple different things that are going on right now. A new monthly candle just opened, and the last monthly candle just closed. All right, so you can keep that in mind. But also, given it's the first week of April, guess what? Every first week of the month, we're going to see non-farm payroll come in, and also unemployment rates. All right, so that's what we'll be paying attention to this week, and that'll be on Friday. So the rule of thumb is, if we can be finished trading by Wednesday, and great. If not, then we will follow our way into the thick and see if we can participate in that Thursday and Friday price action. But, any NFP week, generally, there's high impact news events every single day, right? Now, on Tuesday, tomorrow, no news until the 10 a.m. news release. So keep that in mind. No volatility events until 10 a.m. So what does that mean? Can't trade until 10 a.m. for some. All right. I would keep in mind, however, that until 10 a.m., there's potential that the market could not deliver the true move until after the 10 a.m. manipulation, right? So typically, whenever there's a news release at 10 a.m., typically around that 10 a.m. time, we can see manipulation first, or whatever move happens before 10 a.m. turns out to be manipulation, and we see the actual delivery play out at 10 a.m. So we'll keep that in mind. And then we got some speakers speaking throughout the day. On Wednesday, fake ADP, that's what I call it, ADP, non-farm payroll, which is just basically the employment change numbers based off of ADP, which is one of the biggest software payroll and hiring softwares in the country. So it has a pretty good idea, I would say, of employment changes. Then we also go ahead and have 9:45 news release and a 10 a.m. news release. All right. So days like this, again, I just went over that. And we also know Chairman Powell will be speaking at 12. So Wednesday is going to be a little bit of a minefield. Definitely keep your eye out. Be careful on Wednesday. Thursday, initial jobless claims, exports and imports. That's pretty much it. Friday, actual non-farm payroll and employment numbers dropping at 8:30 a.m. So we'll be prepared as we flow into that. Okay, so number of opportunities this week for things to play out. Now, I am going to... Today is not only the beginning of a new month, it's also the beginning of a new quarter. All right. So one thing that I teach, pretty consistently within our course, within our community, for anybody who's ever, learned anything from me, I always emphasize in my own trading, paying attention to quarters, right? So the same way we pay attention to the highs and lows of a month, the highs and lows of a week, or we pay attention to the beginning and end of a quarter, of a month, or of a day, or of a week, is the same way I treat quarters, right? Highs and lows of specific quarters are important, and I pay attention to them. And the fact that we're opening a new quarter right now, we typically would expect at the beginning of a new quarter and at the beginning of a new month for price to actually maybe trade in the opposite direction of that opening of the month's projected direction. So say that we expect DXY to be bullish this month at the beginning of April, at the beginning of the second quarter. First, we would expect to see a bit of bearishness, or we wouldn't be surprised by a bit of bearishness. It's actually a very high likelihood that the price goes the opposite direction before it goes the direction that it actually wants to go. Okay, so that's the way that we view things fundamentally going into the second quarter. Now, the first quarter of the year was so far here. Okay, so looking at dollar. All right, this was the beginning of the year, and we are here. So far, for the first quarter of the year, the market was bullish. All right, so we had a bullish first quarter of the year, and going into the second quarter, we can expect some type of a shift, whether that's a shift for more speed to the upside, or whether that's a shift into, the market going in the opposite direction. And that's going to be very dependent on where, we're trading into. So what I see coming into DXY is we've been expecting, all right, and we've been looking at this for a few weeks now. We were expecting to see DXY trade down to here. I haven't touched this chart. I haven't moved. I haven't added really anything to this chart. I've only taken things off so that it wouldn't be as messed up, or as like, you know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be so crowded. But we were expecting price to come back into this imbalance here from January, and we saw them trade off, sell down into that level, and then we got strong expansion. All right, now my higher time frame objective was the high of the year so far. All right, that was my higher time frame objective, high of the year and high of February. Okay. And as you can see, we're actually about to deliver into that objective right now. All right. So the thing about higher time frame objectives is once price reaches a higher time frame objective, I want to take a step back and, pay attention. All right. Now, I would love to see DXY continue, right, to these even highs here, the highs of 2023. We got a lot of consolidation, choppiness, all of 2023 before running out these lows. After running out these lows, we got a higher high here, right? They came down one more time, higher low than this wick, and higher than, the previous wicks over here, here. However, sorry guys. All right. We have higher lows. And we had them run out these lows, trade back into this imbalance. So I'd love to see price actually go ahead and get above, right? As we have a higher high, higher low. We love to see a higher high from here. Okay. Now we did see higher high, and then we got a lower high, right? And then we ended up getting a higher low again. And then we ended up getting a higher high here, right? So after seeing that higher high and this arguable higher low, I do want to see price at least trade up to these highs here. I do always keep in mind the fact that price is trading into a key level with these imbalances here. We already saw them respond to this level once, right? Because here they traded up. Well, I guess we wouldn't count that, but here they traded into the imbalance, up to the halfway of it, traded away. And then last month, again, we traded up to that imbalance, rejected, traded away. And then now we are thoroughly trading into that imbalance. So, I mean, I would expect this thing to go ahead and fail, right? But we have seen a lot of resistance here at this level. And we just got up to the midpoint inside of that level, as well as trading above a key high, right? Above a key level. So I want to kind of give the market a little bit of room to breathe here. Let me know what it wants to do, right? Do we just want to continue to move higher, or do we see a bit of a pullback? Now on this weekly time frame, here, all right, we can see that price expanded from that daily level we were expecting here, right? Went ahead and gave us an expansion to the upside. And we also have here the level before the price broke down to the lows here, okay, and then expanded higher. We finally have traded above this key level and would be paying attention to this, just like I was paying attention before, when we traded above price here. And then the next candle traded back down into that key level, and we expected expansion, and we got that expansion from there. And now we're reaching these highs of February. All right. However, after reaching those highs, wouldn't be surprised to keep my eye open on seeing price come back down into this range of what we're trading here. Right. So this was last month. Right, so that was last month's. And we're going to put this on the higher time frame as well. So yes, here, okay, we have the last month's price action, right? Open of March. So this was them trading down low beginning of the March. Right? What did I explain to you? At the beginning of a month, it's likely, very likely actually, that price trades down first, right? Traded to that imbalance and then trades higher. All right. Now here we are again at the beginning of another month. And as I said, I would first expect, especially after seeing us reach a target level like this, after reaching this level, I would expect a form of bearishness or retracement from here, right, back into this range of last month. And the only place that catches my attention here on the weekly time frame is going to be this gap here, right, that fair value gap right there, which is the low of March's candle, the low of this last week of March and the high of this first week of March. Between there is a gap. So that's where, for right now, I would say I would keep my eye on if we see willingness to trade lower from this high of February right now. That's pretty much what we're going to be looking to see there. And that was here we have a most recent low here, that last week of March, which was last week. Okay, so here we have this low of last week. Would love to see them go ahead and run that low of last week, trade into that weekly imbalance, and then, see an expansion from there. All right, so that's kind of what I want to see here on dollar, but definitely would expect some type of reaction here at this high. That's what we're basically betting on here. Now, looking at the bonds market, I mean, again, it's exactly what we've been looking for to play out on bonds has been playing out to it. Just very aggressively, way faster than, we've, considered it to go down. We said this last week, wanted to see bonds get down below these lows of February here. And right below those lows of February, we actually have a monthly imbalance here that I'd like to see them rebalance to. Before we see potential for them to actually continue even lower, right? Because overall, this market's been pretty bearish, right, since 2020, right? So I want to give them that. I want to give them that room to get down there. However, since this was last Monday, this is this Monday. All right. So yeah, looking just at last week's price action, you can see we've already literally started the week off taking the lows of last week and even trading below the lows or close to below the lows of the week before that. They went absolutely ridiculously bearish today. Very, very ridiculously bearish. After trading back into a higher time frame key level, right, which would be up here, trading into these key levels up here. So I'm what's the word I'm looking for? I'm called to trust that they're serious. They mean business with this bearishness here, with this bearish action. And with this much of a manipulated move, it's hard for me to imagine they don't drop down to these equal lows, right? Or down to these lows here of February. So pretty much bearish on that bonds market for right now. And typically we expect the bonds market and the dollar to go opposite directions. So, I mean, for right now, makes sense. We just got this nasty bullishness here on DXY. And I'm not saying DXY is just going to fall out the sky right now, because that's very unlikely that they would just fall out the sky right now. However, at some point after trading above this, I would either expect some type of consolidation or pullback. And around that same time, hopefully, we would already be running out these here lows on bonds, and we can start to look for them to trade higher. Maybe they only make it down here. They don't have to make it to those lows of February, all right, just to be honest, right? They could just go ahead, take out the lows of March that they conveniently placed here, right? They could just run out those lows of March, maybe don't even make it to the lows of February, and so would have to be prepared for that. But either way it goes with bonds and dollar. Bonds, I definitely want to see them go ahead and trade a bit lower down to those lows, or at least the lows here of March. DXY, they've already reached that higher time frame objective I have, which is the high of February. The next objective that I would be looking to see them at is 2023's high, last year's high. But I just can't, I'm not expecting to see them get up there before they pull back, down into this low from last week. And this weekly order, this weekly fair value gap, weekly imbalance. That's my thoughts on those. Looking over at my Lady Nas, man, it's been fun, huh? So, with NASDAQ, again, very, 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 very bullish. Continued bullishness. We've seen NASDAQ go ahead, trade above the highs of March. Trade above the all-time highs, period, right? These were those all-time highs here from March 8th, and they just went ahead and ran that about 2 weeks ago. So the Thursday before last Thursday. But I would just count this as the high in general. Ran that, dropped, and then they ran it one more time. And we're starting to see them go ahead and show some weakness from taking that high. I just find it a little bit suspicious. Because right here, NASDAQ's price action today. Let's go ahead and add some time. All right, so today, Monday at midnight, was the beginning of our week. Boom. Monday. And that was last Monday. All right, cool. So yeah, with NASDAQ, my problem was that this morning I was expecting, boom, boom, this was the weekly open. So yeah, this morning on Monday, I was expecting to see them trade above the highs of either last week here or, yeah, I mean, pretty much the highs of last week. I mean, these are the highs of that Friday before as well. However, it was really just these highs from last week. I was anticipating to see them trade above, but here you can see we kind of, chopped around at the beginning of the day. And then here in New York session, we got a ran up. And they took the high of Monday, did not take the highs from last week, and then absolutely sold off. All right. So we got very bearish, a lot of strong bearishness coming in with that. Yeah, I'm very much in a scalping and paying attention intraday here. When it comes to NASDAQ, because we're at all-time highs. We've been consolidating for the last week. This is the definition of let the market show you its hand, let the market show you what it wants to do. So yeah, the only advice that I have for myself here looking at NASDAQ is be patient. I don't have a steady read on what direction they want to go. All I can really go based off of is my comparisons, which is expecting either consolidation or, higher prices here on DXY or pullback on DXY. I'm sorry. While on bonds, I feel like they have room to trade a bit lower, right? So it's, everything is not even the way that it needs to be, right? We have the bonds market trading lower, still hasn't reached sell side objectives. We have the dollar trading higher, already reached buy side objectives. And then we have NASDAQ consolidating for the last week. SPX, US 30, just been really weird price action. Now, mind you, US 30s actually had a full bullish week last week. And then this week, just straight bearishness to start the week off. So that same consolidation hasn't actually been going on with US 30 as it has been with NASDAQ. And I think that's very much because NASDAQ's been a lot more bullish. So as things have been turning around, like the market wants to actually prefer to go lower, NASDAQ is just like holding her head like, why would I go anywhere then? So it's a interesting place that we're in. The key levels that I'm paying attention to here on NASDAQ is the lows of last week, right? As well as the highs of last week. That's the range that we have, caught price in between. And I mean, that's what happens when we have that consolidation profile playing out. So to some degree, I want to see which one of these sell side liquidities get taken out first or get traded towards aggressively. And I can use that to map out some scalps on the lower time frame, but I don't have any higher time frame predictions right now when it comes to NASDAQ. Today, the one thing that had my attention was here. We had this gap from Thursday's price action, and this morning, I didn't get any confirmations, right? I saw them trading into the gap. I wanted a rejection from there. We got that rejection all the way up, right? And I would have loved to see that take us above the highs of the week. That would have been perfect. However, on the lower time frame, there was no confirmation to take the trade. Therefore, I didn't, but was able to participate in these sells that came back down, taking out these lows from Thursday. All right, so they took out these lows here from Thursday. We got a high that came in, right? So we have this high, lower low, lower high, right? So now, just based off of this shorter time frame perspective, I can see NASDAQ actually getting down to this sell side liquidity, right? These lows from last week at least, and preferably before we make a run higher over here. All right, that's what I would like to see. So now the fact that they traded through that key level that I wanted to see them hold, we saw them trade through that key level and then come back, retest the high of that key level, and then go ahead and they sold off from there. So it's potential that we actually go ahead and see, a opportunity to go ahead and look for these lows, the sell side liquidity to get taken out. That's what I'll be paying attention to going into tomorrow's New York session. But again, doing my best to continue to remind myself that these conditions are really weird. And with that being said, want to be more patient than aggressive in these conditions personally, especially, in NFP week, so that we can live to fight for the entire rest of the week. Right. So those are my thoughts really on NASDAQ without going super low time frame. Gold has been continuing to amaze, and go ahead and head for these highs. For right now, me on gold, I have not done a pre-analysis on gold, but I will be looking at gold on the charts this week. So anybody, if you want my bias or, my viewpoint when it comes to gold this week, definitely suggest going ahead and clicking the link and getting access to our free group, getting access to that free group where I trade live. And that way you guys can ask questions, get value, and see what it is that analysis is that I have on gold. But for right now, that's what we're going to be paying attention to for this week. And like I said, remember, next week's market outlook will be on Sunday, not on Monday. It'll be on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So appreciate you guys. And I look forward to taking advantage in the markets this week. You guys trade safe.